Oh my gosh, this is the current situation of my office. That's where I need to record my video. So give me a second, guys. I gotta get this place cleaned up. There, that is much better. Room is clean. I can work. I'm like 80% organized. We'll say that 80%. There's still some stuff hidden out of view, but at least I can sit on my chair and chat with you guys. Hello, welcome to our Monday Work With Me video. I know this is not the traditional start to the video, but this is real life, okay? My room's a mess. We got to get a little bit organized before we can start this video. If you are new to my channel, I'm a Canadian reseller. I'm a mom to 2 girls, a wife. I work part-time in a hospital pharmacy, and I love to sell used clothing. It is my jam here on YouTube, and I share everything about my business, helping you grow a side hustle reselling as well. So today's video is a work with me. You work, I keep you company. I'm your favorite coworker. You're my favorite coworker. And we just chat about reseller news, reseller related topics, and we have some good ones today. I'm excited. It involves Patagonia, and I think it's pretty hot tea. But we're going to start with the life update, business update, and then we'll jump into our topics. So life update, things have been busy. I wish I need to think of a different way to say that to you guys every week. But yeah, life's just been busy. I worked through a huge chunk of that shoe death pile. So the goal is by Friday to have all of them listed. And I don't even care if they start selling right away, because a lot of these shoes are actually like fall winter shoes. But I just need them to get listed and get out into the buyer universe and out of totes and just sitting unlisted, right? Like death pile stuff. I'm trying to really focus on listing and getting out those 40 listings. And now that, like, last week, I ended up putting out 53 listings. That's so crazy. I haven't done that in a really long time. But I also did it in a really short period of time. And I'm going to share later on in the video how I listed those shoes quickly, how I list everything generally pretty quickly. I can usually do 10 items an hour. I don't want to say easily because it depends on the item, but I could do that probably. So what does that work out to? 6 minutes an item? Yeah, I can list items photographed right to inventoried in 6 minutes an item. Okay, what else? We were off Friday, and we ended up heading out to the mountains Friday morning. We had some yard stuff to do. Jeff's dad bought this old car from the 1950s in fall, and he was storing it in our garage, so we had to get it loaded on a trailer so that he could take it home, just because there was like snow on the ground and everything. But anyways, we were out there for 3 days. We did 2 glorious hikes. It was absolutely amazing. My soul is full. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I need to be outside to like fill my cup, like my emotional and my, like, I don't know, my well-being. When I'm outside, I just feel a lot better out in nature, and the mountains is like the magic potion for me. When I can go on a good hike, breathe in that like pine-filled air, run my hands in cold mountain stream water, dip my toes, that just fills my cup right up. So I feel like I'm recharged, rejuvenated, ready to tackle anything that comes my way until we get out there next. And right now it's getting listing. I need to get some listings done. But yeah, other than that, we took a break from working on our ambulance, which was a little bit different because we've been doing that for like a couple months straight, just hunkering down on jobs. But I think it was good for us to take a break from that as well. And we'll slow down working on that in summer because it's kind of lake season and we like to enjoy the weather. Although I think we'll like probably sneak in little pockets of going to his dad's shop and getting some projects done. But I don't imagine like huge progress happening over summer, just because we have to enjoy the nice months while we can. But yeah, other than that, that is life. Just busy, messy, unorganized, and it is what it is. I'm okay with it. and I really enjoy sharing like the honesty of my life with you guys, and not trying to hide or like have this facade that I'm perfect or that my house is perfect or that my world is perfect, because it is far from that. It's very real. So yeah, I like sharing these little tidbits and insights. Okay, so let's jump into this week's Work With Me topics. The first topic is Patagonia is suing Nordstrom, and I actually have to read the article to you. I'm going to link the article down below if you want to read it yourself. It was the Fashion Law that put it out. I saw it on Instagram, then I went and searched it on Google, but I'm going to go over it because there's a lot of information in here, so I feel like I need to read it, and then I have a couple 2 cents to add in after that. So Patagonia sues Nordstrom. Nordstrom is selling lots of Patagonia wares. The outdoor apparel brand asserts in a new lawsuit. According to the complaint that is filed with the California Federal Court on Tuesday, Patagonia claims that despite holding itself as a trusted retailer with a strong reputation among its customers, Nordstrom has sold thousands of counterfeit Patagonia sweaters and t-shirts through its Nordstrom Rack stores. That actually does not surprise me at all. To make matters worse, Patagonia states that Nordstrom was an authorized dealer of Patagonia apparel for many years, making it so that while it is no longer an authorized Patagonia dealer, Nordstrom's customers expect to find genuine Patagonia product at the Nordstrom stores. Of course, I think you expect to find genuine product of any brand at Nordstrom. Nordstrom advertises as carrying the same vendors as those carried in main brand stores. Setting the stage in the newly filed lawsuit, which was first reported by the Fashion Law, Patagonia asserts that in 2023, shortly after the end of the year-long dealer relationship between it and Nordstrom, which Patagonia states that it elected not to renew, Nordstrom began selling counterfeit Patagonia products at Nordstrom Rack stores. The counterfeit wares contain trademarks that are identical to Patagonia's P6 logo artwork and trademark, and that are identical to the Patagonia word mark. Per Patagonia, not only do the copycat wares bear counterfeit logos and other trademarks, the garments themselves are identical to and completely direct with goods sold by Patagonia, including sweatshirts and t-shirts. In addition to causing confusion among consumers, also deliberately misled customers about the quality of their materials used and the conditions in which they were made. For example, the counterfeit sweatshirts include a neck label that prominently and falsely advertised them as being made of organic cotton, when the care and content label on the very same garment lists fibers 100% recycled polyester. Beyond that, the hang tags on the counterfeit products include fair trade certified logos, oh my gosh, and improperly state that the products are made in a fair trade certified sewing facility, which means we pay a premium to workers so they can elevate their standard of living. The article continues on stating, while Patagonia maintains that in an effort to avoid litigation, it brought this problem to Nordstrom's attention and requested that the company voluntarily recall the products or reimburse customers, but Nordstrom allegedly failed to recall these fake, mislabeled Patagonia branded products, or even inform its customers that they had purchased counterfeits or inferior fabrication and quality. As a result, Patagonia says that it was forced to file this lawsuit against Nordstrom to prevent further harm to its brand and consumers. Amen. Oh my gosh, I am like shook that such a large retailer would do this. And there's like a little bit further on where it said Nordstrom is internally looking into this matter, but like, we trust these big box stores when we purchase items from them. And this is shocking that they are not providing the true brands that they state they are. Like, I just can't imagine. Could you imagine going in there, spending $100 on an organic cotton sweater, and it's not what you purchased? And when they are providing a few photos, if you click on the link, you can see some of the counterfeit logos and photos. I would never know. I would never be able to tell the difference between a true brand and the knockoff. To tell you the truth, it would have gotten past me. I think where you may catch it would be in the quality, and you can kind of see the quality in the fakes that they have pictures of, just in the material content type. But Man, that is crazy. So contract was ended and Nordstrom continued to sell products because they purchased counterfeit ones. So crazy. I had to talk about this because Patagonia is one of my favorite brands. So this was a big news thing, I think. If you have any insight into this or any thoughts, have you purchased items from Nordstrom before that you know were not authentic? Please drop it down below in the comments. I would love to hear your stories or your insights into this matter because I have nothing. I just found this story incredibly interesting, but I would love to hear what you guys think. And I don't have a Nordstrom locally. Like, I've been into them a few times, but I don't have one that I go to regularly to even have an opinion or experience shopping there. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Okay, moving along. Next topic, SL Cruzen. Sorry, it was a kind of a strange YouTube username, but I wanted to give credit to this person. Asked, how do you overcome burnout posting items? And I think this person was feeling burnout from trying to post, you know, numerous items, and just, I think she said she felt like throwing everything in the garbage. And I personally have experience listing burnout, but I do have some tips as to how to prevent this. And these things have worked really well for me. So how I prevent burnout when listing is I usually have set days and times where I'm going to be doing my listing. And I usually don't list for more than 3 hours at a time. I can list about 10 items an hour, and I'm going to share it a little bit later in the video how I do this. But by having like set time frames, and being like hyper focused when I'm listing, I feel like as long as I'm reaching my listing goals in that time frame, I can usually not feel burnout. Like, I don't feel burnt out listing for 3 hours. I've found like easy ways, I think, to list quicker, and the quicker I can list, the less time I have to spend on the item, the better I feel. Another thing that I do is I categorize my items. So a lot of times I will do all my Lulu items together because I can search the style number on the tag, and it's just easy getting descriptions, things like that. I find those are very easy to list. Also my Aritzia items, because they have an article number on the tag, I find those very easy to list because I pretty much just copy the manufacturer's description and put that into my listing. Those types of things I feel like are repetitive and just very simple and easy. I don't have to think very hard. Another way that I prevent burnout is listing like items together. So if I have a bunch of jeans, I'm going to do 15 pairs of jeans. And your brain only has to think about jeans, right? Like the qualities of your jeans, the styles of the jeans, the waist, the rise, the inseam. I find it more draining and fatiguing when I try and list lots of different categories at once. Like if I grab a couple sweaters, a couple tops, a couple pants, a couple shoes, I find my brain gets more fatigued switching from like different categories and description bodies, and that can wear me down. One of the biggest things I think that saved me from fatigue in the last few months has been using Magiscriptor. And I find like people either love it or hate it. I am pretty neutral. I try not to have emotional feelings about my listings. I feel like if you create a pretty good title with the appropriate keywords, it creates a pretty good description. They also just did an update. It is available on desktop. I use the mobile app, and they just did an update where you can set it to like 50 characters. You can have hashtags included. It also like SEO rewrites your listing title. And then under the signatures, I put my tops, like the keyboard shortcut that I use for tops and the keyboard shortcut that I use for pants. So I can select those and then hit copy all. And then I literally just go open up my Poshmark listing, paste it, enter in my armpit, by my pit to pit length, or if it's pants, like whatever measurements, but it's all pre-filled out. And I have found that that is actually one of my biggest lifesavers now, is using Magiscriptor, because the fatiguing part sometimes is writing these descriptions and getting all the appropriate keywords and you know, having all that information put into it. At least that's what I found the most fatiguing. I rarely feel fatigued listing now or listing burnout, but I think it's because I have processes in place for doing it. And then I also either use Magiscriptor or manufacturer's descriptions, and I don't have to think about them, right? What burns us out is like the thinking. And even with the photographing, like I have processes. I take the same pictures for all my tops, all my pants, all my shoes. It's like the same 8 photos for each type of category. And then I don't even have to think about it, right? It makes it so much easier the less you have to think about each item. So I hope that helps you. If you haven't used Magiscriptor, I have a code down below, and I think you get 5 free credits to try it out. It's also very affordable. I know people have talked about ChatGTP or GPT. I can't remember what the acronym is. That's also an easy alternative. I like Magiscriptor because it's on my phone. I have those like preset signatures, which would be my keyboard shortcuts, and it's just easy to copy and paste, where with the ChatGTP, it's just not set up as easily for resellers, but it's definitely something you could use if you want to as well. I just want to say I prefer Magiscriptor. I like ease of use. The less amount of time I have to spend on an item, the better. And yeah, so you can try it out if you want, and I feel like it's a very affordable option to help you write your listings. All right, next up, Depop rolled out offers to likers. I think this is huge news if you are a Depop seller. I used to be one. I currently don't sell anything on there. I think I have items listed, but I haven't made a sale on there in like 2 years. Nor do I like actively list and update my closets and things like that there. But okay, so Depop coined it make offer. That's what it's called. Make offer. Negotiating prices got a lot easier with the make offer feature. Increase your chances of getting items at a price that's right for you. Quicker sales, better prices, and a dedicated place to track all your offers. So got questions? We'll do our best to answer them. I just like copy and pasted this from their website. So sellers, the make offer feature increases your chances of selling faster, making it easier than ever to negotiate prices with your buyers. How it works. We'll notify you when you receive an offer. You can accept, counter, or decline offers you receive in the Selling Hub under Offers. Offers expire 24 hours after they're sent, so be quick. And not open to offers, you can simply ignore them. So you don't have to respond if you don't want to, but it's definitely an option. Benefits are never miss out on interested buyers, negotiate a price that's right for you and your buyer, and no more back and forth in messages, and no more manual price changes. I love this. When I was selling on Depop, that was the part that annoyed me the most. It was like the back and forth in the messages. It was just, I found it sometimes just cumbersome to make sales. So I think that if you are selling on Depop, this is a game changer, and it's a very positive update in the app. Do I think it's going to open you up to lots of lowball offers? Probably, but you have that opportunity to negotiate or to message them back and be like, hey, the lowest I can go is this. If that works for you, let me know. So, I mean, the ball's always in your court. You don't have to accept offers if you're not happy with them, but at least it gives them an option to be like, hey, would you accept this for the item? Because sometimes people might see things and they just don't want to message you and be like, hey, would you take 40 instead of 50 for that sweater, right? I do think it's just another way for buyers and sellers to communicate, which is always a good thing, and I believe it will equal more sales for sure. If you're a Depop seller and you're utilizing this feature, share down below. What are your thoughts and experiences using it? I'd love to know how it's working for you, and is it actually equaling to more sales? Okay, last topic we're going to cover today is how I list items quickly and how I worked through my shoe death pile. So I feel like this just needed its own segment in the video because I talk about how quickly I can list and how little amount of time I spend listing, but I don't always like break down the aspects of my listing. I do have a couple videos. If you go into my tips and tricks playlist, I think I've done a couple videos on how I list quickly. They may be older videos, but nonetheless, it's still the general practice that I'm following. So we'll answer the first one, and then I want to share with you guys how I went through my shoe pile quickly because I'm about halfway through it and I committed maybe 4 hours to listing there. Okay, so in general, how I list quickly, and I kind of talked about this earlier in the video, is I usually categorize my items, and definitely anything that has a style number or name on the tag, I will list those items all together. I also like to list all my free people items together because they're really easy to use Google Lens on. Now, I need to state I don't sell a lot of generic type clothing like plain black shirts, plain black dresses, plain white blouses, you know, like things that are very hard to identify. I don't sell a lot of those items. Most of the items I am selling are either Aritzia, Lululemon, or unique pieces, typically unique pieces or easily identifiable pieces. I don't shop at the bins, so I'm thrifting. I'm looking for substantial pieces. I find these are a lot easier to identify as well. So for free people, Google Lens, 99% of the time, it will pull up a stock photo and a description. Also, whatever the item was originally sold at, I like to know what the retail price of the item was. For Lululemon, I don't typically sell Lululemon items that are older than 2017. So the size dot always has the style number on it. And there's always a size, well, not always, most times, except for some of their t-shirts and sweaters, there's going to be a size dot in the item. And if for women, it's the 6 digits starting with the W, and it's like letters and numbers. And for men's items, you start with the M. So women's W, M for men, and it's the 6 numbers and letters, including that W or M. And that'll pull up, like I use Lulu Fanatics all the time. It will pull up what the item is, the style. You can search up the color, the year it came out, what they originally sold for. Like there's just so much information, and I feel like those are very easy to list when the information is easy to find like that. And then with the Aritzia tags, on the back side of the tag inside the seam, usually where it tells you the material content, there's an article number. So usually I'll look up the brand such as Babaton, I'll say pants, and then I'll put that article number. And if it is a newer item, it will almost always pull up what the style was, how much the item sold for, and it'll like take me right to the Aritzia website. Those are so easy to list. I can pound those out so quickly. If I could just sell Lululemon items with size dots or Aritzia items, I would be happy because I can list those incredibly quick. I take the same types of photos, yeah, do the measurements, like those are quick and easy. Copy and paste the descriptions from the manufacturer. That's what I personally do. It's not right or wrong. I'm just kind of telling you guys what I do. Now, for other items like Levi's, I will search up the style in the tag. So when you flip up the tag, I think it says like PC, and it'll be like a couple digits with a dash and then like 4 more digits. And usually I will search them up using that number as well. And it'll tell you like the color of it, the style, any information you need. So those types of items are really easy to list. Those are the items that I actually list the majority of, like that's majority of my closet. And then I will have my one-off, like my unique items. A lot of those, I'm just taking good pictures. I will use Photo Room to quickly edit the cover photo for that listing. And then I'll create a good title, put that into Magiscriptor, get the description, create the listing. If there's any details that need to be changed from what Magiscriptor put out, I'll do those quick edits. I might add in a couple keywords if there's like style tags or things that I want to add in after. That works really good as well. and it can create those listings in like 3 or 4 seconds. So that takes a lot of pressure off me. And then there's all the other items like unique, say like a Revolve dress. Again, I'm going to use Google Lens. I use Google Lens on so many things. If I don't know which keywords to use to describe an item, I will Google Lens the item and it'll show me a bunch of similar items that look similar or whatever. And usually they'll have keywords stuffed into the titles of those that I will then pull and put into my own title. I also like to list in categories, like I said. So if I'm doing shoes, I'm going to do a bunch of boots. I'm going to do a bunch of sandals. I'm going to do sweaters. I'm going to do, you know, random jean brands that I have. I try and do everything in categories and similars so that my brain doesn't have to jump around as much. And it just makes listing a lot easier. So those really are like the basics. And what I will do is photograph 10 items probably at a time, 10 to 15 items, and list those. When those are done, I will photograph another 10 to 15 items and list those. And they're more like smaller, tangible goals. And maybe for you, it's going to be like 5 items. I'm going to photograph and list 5 items. But I feel like breaking it down into smaller goals also helps my brain feel satisfied when I get them listed. I also shut off all notifications. I don't scroll on my phone. I don't have a lot of distractions. I recently shut off all notifications on my phone, like for apps. So I no longer receive notifications for Poshmark. I did leave eBay on, but I don't get a lot of notifications from there. I shut off notifications on YouTube, on Instagram, like everything, because my phone was continually lighting up. Like if we were out somewhere, I always have to turn my phone over upside down because it's so continuous of the notifications, and it never gives me a mental break from my phone. So I did that a couple weeks ago and it's been really freeing. Honestly, I'm a happier person not having notifications popping off on my phone all the time. So that was another thing that I did. And I think also like speed comes with doing it lots, right? So I've listed over 4,000 items. I think that everyone needs processes, designated areas. Like I have a designated area where I photograph. I can take items and photograph there anytime. If you have to set up and take down to do any of the tasks in your business, those are barriers right away. And I think they also slow you down. So I've been able to do designated areas in my house where I do everything. So like my inventory, my shipping has its own area, where I photograph has its own area, where I store unlisted inventory. Like I'm very fortunate to have this space, but if I had a smaller space, I think I would just create processes again for the space that I had. But I do think having a process for each step in your business also makes it very replicatable. Is that a word? Repeatable? You guys know what I mean. It makes it easy to repeat and also helps with efficiency. So I've said this so many times before, but if you work on anything in your business this month, this week, this year, it's work on efficiency, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you make on an item or each individual item or what your profit margins are. What matters is what did you make hourly, right? What were you paid hourly for your time? So the best way to make more money is to be more efficient with your time and increase your hourly wage. I think that was the ultimate goal for me in my business when I first started, was create efficient standard processes for everything that I do. But yeah, that's like, man, that's like all I can think about. I'm sure there's other little details, but those are really like the basics of how I break everything down. And yeah, it's just, and the other thing is like having everything within arm's reach. So if you're listing, your measuring tape should be within arm's reach, your phone, your inventory pegs, like everything that you need while you're taking photos and listing should be within arm's reach. Because as soon as you start to have to take 3 steps this way, 4 steps this way, reach up, find that, you're just wasting time, right? And that takes away from the efficiency. So for me, when I'm listing, everything is within arm's reach. And my measuring tape stays around my neck so that it's easy to grab. But okay, I'm just sitting here editing and realized that I didn't cover how I listed those shoes quickly. So I wanted to pop on and share with you guys how I did that. So with all the shoes that were in my death pile, most of them were quite unique. I listed them so quickly. So what I did was I have a setup area where I do my shoes. I took all my photos and most of the items were already clean, needed minimal amounts of prep. I have some shoe wipes that I'll just give them a quick wipe down with, but that's it. Take all my photos, I line them up on the table, and then I just use Google Lens on each item to get the style, go to the manufacturer's listing of the shoe, copy the description, took my cover photo, popped it into photo room, put a white background onto it, loaded the pictures, copied their description, and called it a day. And I was able to like just plow through those shoe listings. So I think when listing shoes, Google Lens is your best friend to find out the name of the style, any of the details, get a good description, and then just paste it into your listing and make it nice and easy. But I wanted to talk about that and I completely forgot to address it. And yeah, I was actually shocked at how quickly I listed shoes, to the point where I was like, why don't I list more shoes? Like, why is this my death pile? Why are shoes my death pile? These are literally the easiest thing. And the reason being is that before, I used to only list shoes in their season, where I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just listing whatever I have regardless of the season. And if it doesn't sell, my software will relist it for me. I'm no longer hoarding by season. That is a big change I've made in the last month or two. And part of that is just selling on eBay now, where seasons aren't really affected on there. Like, they are a little bit, but you're selling everywhere and people are looking for items all times of the year. So that was a change I made and I wanted to pop that in here for you guys. Now, we'll continue on. Yeah, I hope this helps you out. If you have any tips that you want to add on how you list efficiently or quickly, please drop it down below. There may be things that I've forgotten, or maybe things that you're doing better than I am that I can take away from you. I would love any help and any way that I can improve. And one of the things that actually I'm going to be changing soon, and I have it here, I have owned this whiteboard forever, like literally forever. And I'm going to start doing this for my measurements. And then when I photograph something, I'm probably going to do tops and bottoms. I'll just have it split, and inventory number and the appropriate measurements. And I'm just going to take a picture of this with the items. This way I can list at any time and I'm not a slave to like listing and measuring and having to do all that at once. And yeah, I think that'll free me up, and I think it'll work better for me. But I've had this in here for like a year and a half, never used it, but I'm going to start using it. So that's one of the other changes that I'm making. But yeah, I hope this helps you in your reselling business. And if you have any questions, please drop them down below. I am more than happy to share more insight into anything. I think I explained it pretty well, but if you have any other additional questions, let me know. I'm happy to help you guys out. Okay, on that note, I am going to head out of here. I don't even know what's something fun we can do. Let's shout out a sale. Let's shout out a sale that we're excited about. And to do that, I'm going to have to open up my sales on Poshmark, but I wanted to take a peek. I've had some really good sales. So something that I would say I'm proud of is one of my great sales from the week was an Arc'teryx jacket. I don't know if you guys remember, I picked up this men's green Arc'teryx jacket. I paid like $12 or $13 for. It sold for $102 over the weekend. So that was a fantastic sale. I feel like sales are slow, but they're happening, and a lot of them are like my higher ticket items. So very specific items that people are looking for. But I just want to rest assure you guys, my sales are slow as well. It's affecting all of us. So even though I listed 53 items last week, I think my sales just hit over 1,000, like just. And not quite where I want to be, but I'm just going to keep hunkering down and building up my closet, because there was a large time where I wasn't listing very consistently, and my closet and the amount of items that I had listed had really shrunk. So for me, I'm working on building my numbers back up and getting into a better position for fall and winter, which I do find kind of like August to December are some of my better sales months. But okay, on that note, I'm heading out of here. I can't wait to hear one of your sales, something great that happened this week, and I'd love to cheer you guys on. If this helps you in your reselling business, give me a thumbs up and tap subscribe on your way out. Other than that, I'm wishing you guys all many sales, and I will see you next time. Bye.